Welcome, everybody, to the Seattle Sports Union Podcast. My name is Abraham DeWeese. I'm back again with the Soul Man, Brian Solack, and on the boards, of course, is the Savage Nathan Savage. And today, we have a very special guest from the Washington Wolfpack Indoor Football League. Is it Indoor Football League, Adam, or I know you guys just changed the leagues. It's Arena Football 1.
Yep, AF1.
Excellent. It's a little hard to keep track, but you guys are now in your third year, and you're the quarterback for the team. We're excited to have you on the show. Thanks for joining us.
I appreciate it.
Curious, tell us a little bit about your background. Where'd you grow up? Where'd you go to college?
So, man, I'm kind of your journeyman to the T, you could say. I had a backpack and a dream, and I didn't. I'm 41 years old, and I didn't stop chasing it. You know, it's I started at young, playing at 89ers, then stopped playing football since. I grew up in Seattle area, Seattle, Washington. Went to Ballard High School, and so it started from there, and then got into football overseas. Had a good time doing that, and then came back to the States thinking that dominating over there would get me into the higher ranks. I got looked at by the Bears and the Chargers. Nothing really came from that. And then was flown to a bunch of CFL workouts. Nothing really came from that either. And then played arena ball, and then been playing for the last 5-6 years. I'm also, got a pretty good semi-pro amateur career. I got the most wins and most championships in Washington history. I'm in the Hall of Fame. So yeah, it's been a fun journey, you could say, a long ride. And here I am at 41, still doing it for the Washington Wolfpack. And I'm one of two other quarterbacks. And we're having a good time playing ball and doing what we love.
Awesome. You mentioned the Hall of Fame. Tell us a little bit about that. That sounds pretty cool.
Yeah. So it's like the Northwest semi-pro football Hall of Fame out here. And it's, they induct guys in there over the years that have done pretty good things. And so they asked me to join it this last year, and I decided that it was an honor, and it was great. Ultimately, obviously my goal was always the NFL and playing at the highest of highs. It's definitely great along the way, but the vision was always a little higher, right?
Awesome. You said you're a Ballard Beaver?
Yeah, I was.
Very cool. Soulman and I are former Blanchette alums. Well, we're still alums, I guess.
Yeah.
But it's good to see somebody take off from that league. It's Division 3, is that right? Or 3A?
So the high school?
Yeah.
It's actually 3A, yeah, the Metro League. So it's in with O'Day and Seattle Prep and some of those top schools there.
We're a little bit older than you, and you guys used to kick our brains in every week. So it's still a little hard feelings on our side here, but I'm glad. I'm glad you said you got to go to North Dakota University, right?
Yeah. So it was University of Mary in North Dakota.
Okay. Very cool.
So it was a D2 school, small school. I wasn't too known out of high school, man. I was kind of a late bloomer. I wasn't too, I just stuck to the grind and the passion of the game, man. And I just, and it's the reason why I built so many good habits through just dedication of just myself and having a goal and a dream. And it's allowed me to be where I'm at 41. I run a business. I train a lot of quarterbacks in the Northwest. Cool. And I give credit to them because they keep me young. They keep me alive. They allow me to work out with them. So it all kind of helps.
That's awesome.
Right.
Where do you run your business out of?
So I do most of it out of, just local fields, and just kind of operate that way. Cause the game of football is played outdoors. So, I like to, if rain or shine, you got to throw the rock, right?
Yeah.
Are you mostly doing work with teenagers or?
So a little bit of everything. I got high school kids. I got some college kids and then a lot of youth kids, just helping them develop just kind of their mechanics and their feet and just kind of understanding the position a little bit and all that stuff that entails.
What's the name of that? What's the name?
So it's QB Kruse, my last name, Kruse. and my Instagram is just QB Kruse, and you can check it out. I always post videos of workouts and just things that I can give back to the youth in any way because just fortunate to play this game so long. I wanna help in any way I can.
Speaking of Instagram, it looks like there's a little QB in the future that just popped into your life.
Yeah, I got a two. My son's 3 years old. He just turned three like a couple weeks ago, and my I also have a daughter who's 7, so she
Awesome.
turns 8 here in a couple months. So it's pretty exciting, man. Those two, they always say you don't know you can love someone better than yourself, right, until you have kids, and that's definitely true.
Well, yeah,
Right on.
that's cool. Growing up, who was your favorite athlete? I guess I want to ask her. Who do you model your game after?
You know, I was a big fan of just growing up the game of football in general. I just loved what it brought, what it was about, the teamwork. But I would say probably Brett Favre, John Elway. Those quarterbacks kind of came to mind. I'm a smaller quarterback, so I always gravitated towards Doug Flutie. Just in that vibe of just height and overcoming odds. Brett Favre and John Elway, just their toughness, the way they led the game, and old school where you didn't want to miss a game, and I feel like now sometimes people are trying to find ways to miss games, and so I was a guy that as long as I could, if I could walk, I was going to play, and so I just admired their toughness and their grit to compete.
Very cool. So you were in the
Yeah.
NFL. You were in NFL Europe. Those are teams like the Claymore and the Monarchs, right?
Yep, absolutely,
Which one were
absolutely.
you? Which one were you with?
Barcelona, the
The
Drakes.
Dragons.
Yeah, the Dragons. Yeah.
Wow, very cool. What was it like to play in Europe? That must have been very, very crazy.
Oh man, it was a time of my life. I felt like a celebrity for the first time ever, and I didn't like it, so I was good on all that. No, it was cool, man. It was they treat you so good. It was, it's the one thing I learned out there too was just how passionate the fans are.
Okay.
They just want to root for something. It don't matter what it is, right? And they rock with you and they stand behind you, and it's pretty cool to be a part of for sure.
Any differences in the fandom there from here? Like, is it more of a soccer atmosphere, or do they translate well to American fandom?
I would say to me it felt like they were a little more. I don't know. It was very similar. They just ride for their team. They ride pretty hard for their team, and they're willing to go to bat for you. So it was just kind of similar in that regard. I would say, as far as the difference goes, there's, maybe a little more rowdy, I guess you could say. I don't know.
Okay.
They weren't afraid to. Yeah, I guess they're both similar in some regard.
Do you have, well, I'm sure you have many favorite moments, but give us one favorite moment, whether it was in high school, college, NFL Europe, or currently. We would love to hear what you have to say.
Yeah, I would think right now, I've had a lot of good moments, man, and memories, and just teammates that helped me along my way and career. And um, obviously it's a team game. You don't get a lot of the success without that. But I think one moment that really sticks out, man, is I threw a touchdown pass, and no, I ran a touchdown pass in, and my daughter was at the game, and I was able to kind of jump in the stands and give her the football, and it just meant a lot to me, man, because as athletes, as you guys know, man, you sacrifice a lot of time, and especially if you want to be great at something, there's a lot of commitment and time away, and you want to let them know how much they mean to you whenever you can, and to be able to do it, have my two loves there, it was pretty cool. It was a special moment.
Nice.
Awesome. I looked at your site and you mentioned that one of your greatest moments was also a behind the back touchdown. What is this some sort of Kobe Bryant thing?
Well, it's not it's something I always practiced late at night when I was at the field, and I'd always
Okay.
get my work in, and it was just one of them things I just kind of did. It was just fun. I just kind of had a was just trying to, yeah, just have a little fun while you're grinding and training, and so I just would practice it, and then I finally did it in a game, and it kind of got pretty popular and was on the news, and it kind of blew up. We were beating the team pretty bad, so it was kind of my Mortal Kombat finish 'em move.
Yeah.
So I tried it and it worked, and then yeah, it was pretty cool.
Now, is that the kind of thing that people would see if they go to Arena League football? A little more craziness or?
Yeah, absolutely. It's definitely with arena football, it's pretty cool because you're right there in the action, right? You can hear the fans talking shit or talking trash. Sorry.
Yeah.
You can, you kind of it's just a good fan experience, and it's action packed, high scoring usually. Yeah, so yeah, I would say if you haven't experienced it, I would definitely suggest at least experiencing one game. It's definitely worth the price too. So
So what do they do to bring the fans in? I mean, promotions, do they do something during the game that gets the fans involved? I mean, I'm curious. I mean, I do definitely want to go. This is new to me, and then I'm definitely going to be there after talking to you tonight. But tell us one or two things.
yeah, so you know, in the arena football it's a tough business, right?
Mhm.
It's kind of a revolving door of players. It's kind of it's been around a long time. Like you go back to I don't know if you guys are familiar with some of the old AF1 days, or AFL when it was on ESPN. I was
Yeah.
actually a pretty big fan of it. Cedric Bonner was a guy I really liked to watch. He was kind of a legend in the arena days, and they were paying bigger money, and like I said, it was on ESPN, and then it fizzled out, right? And then since then, there's been these arena leagues and teams that have been trying to figure it out and trying to operate, but a team pops up, a team folds, So it's kind of had a bad rap. But the one thing I really like with the Wolfpack and what they're doing is they're really trying to build a good base. Ownership's doing a good job. They're good people, man, and they're really trying to build a solid foundation and treat people right and change the stigma to of what arena football has kind of had over the years.
Okay, very cool. Yeah, so Kurt Warner was one of the more famous Arena League players.
Yeah, man, he's a legend for sure, man. That's where he kind of got, he jump started his career, and you get your name on the map real quick, get some buzz behind it, and you never know what can come out of it.
Yeah, you ever thought about dabbling in the old XFL when it was around?
Yeah, yeah, I had a few opportunities, I've always kind of been right on the cuffs of everything, all my career, and I'm not the tallest, like I said, about five, depending on a football roster, I'm 6 foot, but really about 5'10". Um,
Mhm.
and so I pride myself on movement, and being able to kind of manipulate the pocket and have some fun back there and create some fireworks.
Nice,
Very cool.
nice. What I guess what I watched a couple games over the years of arena football, but if I'm going to turn it on today to watch, what's one difference, I guess, between the arena football and regular NFL football? I mean, do you guys go for two every time? Is there field goals? What I mean,
So there's there's a
educate
there's a
someone like me.
couple yeah, there's a couple big differences that stand out. Like the field goal post is a lot shorter. Obviously the field is smaller. It's in an arena. I think it's like 50. I'm not exactly sure, but I think it's 50 yards wide, basically, or long, like 23 yards wide, maybe. Whereas the real football is like a football field's 110 yards long and like 50, yeah, 53 or something yards wide. So obviously those dimensions are different. And then the field goal post in arena is a lot skinnier. So it's really
Okay.
hard to make kicks in arena. And then you can play it off the wall, you can play it off the net. So there's that element to the game that's pretty exciting. And then there's a high motion. So there's a guy that's always going in motion who gets a running head start at the line of scrimmage at the snap of the
Okay.
ball. So that's
Like
also pretty
Canada.
cool and adds some excitement. And then it's eight
Okay,
Okay.
eight players on the field, so there's just a lot. Some minor changes, but at the end of the day, it's still football, right? You're still running and hitting and scoring points.
So now if we
absolutely.
go and one of the players gets knocked into the audience, do we get to take the player home like a baseball?
I wouldn't stop you, but you could definitely take the football. I know that.
Do is it like hockey? Do they have like the glass sides or do people just go flying into the audience? How does that work?
Yeah, so depending on how you get hit. Last year when we played in Oregon, I got hit into the wall and kind of knocked the wall down pretty good.
Okay.
So sometimes you can get hit and kind of if your body's halfway over, and they can kind of do a little extra push and kind of get you all the way over, if that makes sense. So it just kind of depends on your leverage and where you're at against the wall.
Right on.
Because it's
How
not
Okay.
the
many
wall doesn't go the wall goes up to like on average most people's kind of waist, hip area, ribs. So
Yeah. Yeah, I've seen it on TV, but I didn't know if your league had, like, the glass boards like the hockey or if it's just, yeah, it's waist height, yeah, you're getting
yes, and
pounded
it's a
into the
little more
wall.
forgiving, right? Because you run it. A lot of people run into that. It's
Yeah.
uh, they say the wall's undefeated.
Besides that, the city of Everett, the amazing fans that they have, because we all know that they are. What's one stadium out there where you guys go into and the crowd is just vicious and they're loud and really get into the game and talk a lot of shit, and I, I'm just kind of
Yes.
curious.
So I last year was kind of a tough year for me. I broke my hand and my leg. So
Oh,
Ooh,
no.
I played a couple games on a broken hand, and then like a game later, I basically broke my leg and played a couple games on that. So I was trying to just trying to maneuver through those injuries, and then my season was cut short for the most part in regards to just playing, and I would get some in some games late, but so I'd say like I didn't get too many experiences with the arena last year. I will say I got kind of a funny story. People probably don't want me to say this, especially since I'm on the Wolfpack, but
Say it. Say it, say it.
yeah, no.
Say
So
it.
I played against the
Don't get
Wolfpack.
yourself fired. Don't get yourself fired. Don't get yourself
Yeah,
fired, though.
no, we're all right. I shouldn't upset him too much. If anything, it just gives me bragging rights. But I played against the Wolfpack my first year and ended up beating them kind of last second touchdown pass. So, and then the next year I ended up, I know the head coach, Junior Wells, pretty well, great guy, great coach, and got the opportunity to play. Forever grateful, and just trying to keep going now. So, but yeah, it was kind of a funny story. So I would say those fans were they heckled me pretty good, man. I got hit a couple times against the boards, and they were saying some things I probably I shouldn't repeat.
fair enough.
Now you mentioned that you have some championships. If you got 50 or 60 championships, you don't need to go through them all. But what are there some significant ones that you're very proud of?
Yeah, so like in the semi-pro ranks, you play your league, you win your conference, you get a championship, and then in some of the years, like early on, especially, semi-pros kind of, in my opinion, it's kind of getting watered down, falling off a little bit now, but it was it was it was pretty it was pretty good back in the day, and you would go around, and if you won your conference, you would travel around to sanctioned games in Vegas or California or different areas like Denver, Colorado. Vegas was a big one. It kind of brought teams from all over together. And so then if you won that, you would get like a national championship ring. So,
Nice.
combined with national championship rings and conference rings and just kind of winning your local area, city, state type thing. Yeah, I've gotten about 15 of them. So
Ooh,
it's been
nice.
the game's been good to me. Had a lot of great players over the years, a lot of great coaches. Just been fortunate, honestly.
Yeah, it might have been the quarterback too that kind of helped out.
There you go.
Yeah, to all the haters out there that like to say that I've always been on good teams, I like to say there is a common denominator, but it is what it is.
Right on. You said there's three quarterbacks currently on the team, including yourself. Who are the other two quarterbacks?
So, Vincent Espinoza and a guy we just got like last week. His name is Javi, and it's my fault I don't know his last name too well, but yeah, good talented quarterbacks. You know, just trying to find the right rhythm, find the right the guy that can get us in that win column. Right now, we lost last week. It was a tough one. We were down like 20 points or so, like 17 or 20. The coach decided to put me in, and I tried to put on the cape that I've been able to do for most of my career and bring us back, but I wasn't able to do it, and there were some plays out there I left. So now we're just trying to figure out who's going to be the guy, and we're competing and having a lot of fun in the process. I'm just happy I get to play. So
Right on, right on.
Yeah.
So how you said there's only 8 players on the field, so that's typically, I would assume, you got a quarterback, some wide receivers, and maybe half the offensive linemen?
yeah, so you get 3 receivers, you get 3 linemen, and then you get a quarterback and a running back.
Gotcha.
So you can kind of maneuver however you want with that, and you get a high motion. And he's kind of your offensive specialist guy. He gets that running start, and you have him. He kind of can do different routes within that, and then yeah, and defense is allowed one blitz through like certain gaps. So there's just different little rules, but overall, like I was kind of saying, it's just football.
And do you guys have any Travis Hunter types that play on both sides of the field?
Yeah, the arena game is kind of known for that. Guys that'll
Okay.
kind of that have the ability to do that. It helps especially on rosters because if you can get a guy that can play two different positions, it helps. Kind of, you don't have to, it doesn't have to take up an extra roster spot, right? But yeah, not as much though. You kind of most of the time it's more, you kind of master what you do, right?
Especially as a quarterback, they probably don't want you out there getting clobbered playing defensive line or something.
Yeah, I've been known to make some good tackles on some interceptions over the years. So who knows? I might have a career at linebacker too.
Nice.
Nice.
Now, do you guys have offensive coordinator, or do you get to call your own plays, or how's that go?
Yeah. So no, on the arena team, Coach J.R. Wells, he's also the head coach, and he's
Mhm.
also the offensive coordinator. So yeah, he's got a lot of experience. He's a great offensive mind. So it's cool working with him and operating with him. And during my semi-pro career, I was after you start winning, you start earning a little bit of respect, and I was kind of able to call a lot of my own plays and operate my own kind of system, which was a lot of fun as well. I've also been an offensive coordinator in high school, and like I said, trained quarterbacks now. So I'm a student of the game. I love kind of just I just love the game. You could say, I guess. Yeah, man. It's kind of my drug of choice.
How different are plays in the arena league versus, let's just say, NFL? Like, do you call the plays differently, or is it the same thing with just fewer guys?
Yeah, so it's kind of a lot of the similar concepts, right? I like to say football's football. There's only two people that really play football, and it's the O line and D line. Everybody else just runs around. So it's just kind of, football is just that in a sense, but you know, concepts, how you manipulate a defense, how you put guys in conflict, right? How do you, matchups, all that kind of stuff is very similar. Just the arena game's a lot quicker. Things happen a lot faster. Yeah, because of that wall, receivers got to get their head around a lot faster, look for the ball a lot faster, and quarterbacks got to get the ball out faster.
Okay,
That kind of combination of things. Whereas the outdoor game, you can kind of let things develop a little more.
gotcha. So it's not like blacktop basketball. Like you actually have actual plays, not just people running around like on the playground.
Yeah, no, there's
It's
definitely
okay.
verbiage, and our coach signals stuff in, and we have wristbands, and yeah, it's dialed in, man. He's an offensive mastermind, man. He likes to, he's always on the board, drawing stuff up. So it's a fun coach to play for.
Can you give us a play in
Yeah,
your
like uh,
verbiage?
I hope there's no one watching from. We go to Nashville on Friday, so hopefully no one from Nashville's watching. Jeff Fisher's the owner of that team, so he might
Is
be.
he really? Okay,
Yeah.
cool.
Well, he's also the commissioner of the league too.
Wow, I didn't know that. Okay.
Yeah. So
You can give us a play of a previous team you were on. It doesn't have to be this.
I'll give you
I
a
just
play.
want to
It's
hear
not too
where
bad. I mean, the
okay.
thing, if we run it right, it shouldn't stop it anyway, right?
Yeah,
There you go.
exactly. Exactly. They
So
can't
like
stop you.
far right, Y zoom, Hawaii, or X inside Hawaii, right? You're just telling players what to do through the verbiage. Really, it kind of a
Right.
lot of the football verbiage kind of explains itself for the most part. Now, some offenses will be. You'll have words that will, make no sense at all, and you're trying to figure out what the coach is thinking. Like, where did he even come up with that word and that scheme and that concept? But for the most part, the words kind of make sense.
I found it very interesting that our generation uh, grew up playing Madden and have a much higher football IQ for those kind of things. Like some of the words you said, I actually understand just based off of video games, not having actually played the game enough of myself.
Yeah, well, so that's the gift and the curse that I like to say is Madden. Now everyone thinks they're an offensive coordinator, right?
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Everybody second guesses.
They
Yeah.
just they go out there. If it works in Madden, it should work in real life. It's like, oh, there's a few more elements you're missing there, but it's okay.
Yeah. I've had ex-girlfriends tell me, like, can't you just watch the game and have fun? Like, no, someone's to blame for that last play.
Yeah, no, I'm bad myself, man, honestly. I have to watch it. I can't be out and about with a lot of people. It's tough. Like I love fans, man. They make the game go and they make it, it's amazing and without the fans there would be no game and it's I'm forever grateful. But some fans can be so biased and so just like and it's yeah, I like to look at the facts of things sometimes. Like I like to say, so I get into a lot of debates with fans. I'm not opposed to that. I love it, man. I have a lot of fun. And I like to say that I look at it from like an overall perspective of like what's best for the game and the love and all that. Where a lot of
Mhm.
people look at it, especially fans, which is perfectly fine, but they look at it more from like the benefit of their team, right? Their players, their type of thing. So I like to explain that difference and it can rub some feathers differently.
So, was this team in Nashville? I got to ask, are they like the LA Dodgers from baseball? Are they like loaded with all the veterans and overpay for everybody? Or I'm just kind of curious how that works. You guys have a salary cap.
Yeah, you could say that. I just play football. You can line up anybody and I'm ready to line it up and compete, man. That's just who I am. But yeah, owner of the league, Jeff Fisher's been around a long time. I've always been a huge fan of him, his coaching style. I'll never forget that Super Bowl, Tennessee and the Rams, right? Came down to that
Yeah.
2 yards. But yeah, I'm sure he's got some money, right? He's been a kind of a part of some big leagues and probably paid some big dollars. So able to probably do bigger things, more things than Washington right now or than other leagues. But I think, you know, it does help for sure. But
Okay.
team games, you just gotta team games can sometimes outlast that.
Right
Right
on.
on. Right on.
There
I
any
got,
other? Oh,
sorry, go ahead, Abe.
Good. No, you go first.
We have a little category called like soul. It's called soul searching. Go back in time, let's say 20 years, and would you change anything about your past if you're able to?
Let me see. Yeah, that's a great question. My past. I think hindsight, right? It's easy to say no because it helps make you who you are, right?
Yeah.
But I think if I, definitely some things I would have liked to do differently through the process for sure. I think I got into a little bit of trouble in college that really kind of derailed my football journey, you could say. And
Mhm.
I think making some better decisions along that path would have helped. Maybe who knows, but would have helped maybe just in the process. But ultimately, it all happens for a reason, right? And you kind of live with the punches and the mistakes you make and live and learn. And now I'm able to give back and try to help the youth, and so it all kind of comes to fruition, I guess.
Awesome. Right on.
That's really cool. Speaking of the youth, arena football, is this family oriented, or is this more like a party atmosphere? How would you describe the crowds?
Yeah, I would say both, man. I would say it's kind of got the best of both worlds, right? You can bring the family, you can bring a date, you can go with the boys and turn up and get have a real good time. And there's
Mhm.
there's alcohol, there's food, there's little like they try to do halftime shows, or things like that. They try to keep the crowd involved. The game is really big on the crowd, right? And just entertaining and giving the utmost. Like you're always high fiving the fans. You're always trying to get them involved and just kind of create that whole vibe, right? And then after the game, you're always going around and you're so close to the fans, so it's really easy signing autographs and just meeting the kids and the joy they get is pretty cool. Just to see the impact that you have.
Nice. How long are you guys play halves, quarters? I mean, how long's the game?
Yeah, we play quarters. Yep. So it's oh man, I feel like I should know this. Maybe 12-minute quarters or 15-minute quarters.
Okay. Standard then. Right on.
Yeah.
Very cool. And I was looking at some of the scores. Scores get up there a little bit because I assume this is smaller fields, so there's no need to have a 0-3 overtime game.
Yeah, yeah. Those if that's the score, then you're doing some things wrong for sure. But yeah, it's an offensive game. You know, it's real high powered, right? The motion guy has a head start, so he's kind of got already an advantage. And then you're just getting back and letting it go. It's a lot of one on one. I mean, defenses can try to disguise some coverages and do some things, but in reality, you just have to win your matchup. It's a lot of one on one, and quarterbacks got to get rid of the ball, and good things usually happen.
Now, are you guys on? Do they have a local radio contract with you guys, or do you know? Or
That's a great question. That's something that probably my management would know, and those guys would probably know a lot more of. I know there's like we have local broadcasts. Like I'm not sure if it's like Fox 13 or something with the broadcast, and there is a local radio. One of our JJ Jensen, he does our in-game mic on the radio as well, I think, or at least the TV broadcast.
okay,
Yeah, there's some definitely some things out there as far as that goes.
good. Get you guys more exposure. Right on.
Yeah, and then winning, obviously, when you win, that does.
Yeah. Now, you guys, you have 9 teams in the league. Do you play every team twice? Do you know how that works? Or
Yeah, for the most part, I think it's every team twice. I know we play Oregon, I think 3 times, and they're, if you want to call them a rivalry, you could, I guess. They're just, yeah, they're more local. But for the most part, I think it's every team twice or along those lines. It's pretty close to it, but I think they try not to have you travel too much as far as, they try to keep it a little bit more local, and then
okay,
playoffs come, you travel a little bit more. But we are going to Nashville, so I don't know.
yeah, you got to beat Nashville. I don't know anything about these guys, but I'm already tired of them.
Yeah, that. So last year Albany won it, the Firebirds, and it's kind of the same deal there, and no knock on them. They're a talented team, and but when you can afford some more money, right? You can get different quality of things, I guess. So
Yeah, I'm against them already. That's
yeah. So yeah, so as you can see, I'm always fired up to play and compete, man. So things like that just help me get more locked in, I guess.
Typical day in the life during the season for you. Like, tell me what you're going to do tomorrow. I'm just curious what you do on a daily basis to get ready.
Yeah, I'm kind of I'm a weird one, man. I like to consider myself an alien, but like I'll get up depending on when we have our training. We call it training. Our coach likes to call it training, so that's why I'm calling it that. But I'll say practice for the sake of so you guys get the relation. And then we depending on when we have that, I'll find out here in a little bit. Really, it's my daily routine is just never stops. It's usually 5-6 days a week. I'm 5 a.m. to the gym. Then I'm a cold plunge guy after, and then I'm running my miles or my hills or doing my footwork, agility, field work stuff, depending on what it is, and then later I'm training with the kids and operating and working out with them, and so it's a constant. I'm just always working, man, and yeah, it allows me to still move the way I move and do what I do at 41.
Good for you. Right on.
awesome.
And then
And I had to look.
then there's the weight room in there as well. So then I'll hit the weights usually for a couple hours, like I said, in the morning or evening. So it's like 4 workouts a day.
Wow.
Awesome. So I had to look it up. I
Yeah.
had to see what channel you guys are on, and that's Fox Plus, which is Joe T. It used to be called Joe TV, so it's channel 22. I don't think anybody has UHF anymore, but that used to be the big UHF channel.
Oh, okay.
But no, that's the channel that also has like the torrent, the rain, the Kraken. So it's a nice little local sports channel going on here.
Absolutely.
And I'm
Yeah,
glad to see your games are on there.
Yeah, that's cool. That's very cool.
Did not
And
know
that's a
that.
channel
That's
I have,
awesome,
so
man.
I'm going to be watching definitely.
Yeah, and if you guys want to if you guys ever want to come to a game, man, I got tickets for you guys, man. We can, don't worry about that. So just hit me up and we can
Okay,
figure it out. The schedule's online, and yeah, you can just pick a game or whatever. Yeah, it'd be cool to have you
and
guys there.
thank
Appreciate
you.
that.
Yeah, I think we'll take you up on that. We've got
Just if you win, you
we've
got to
got
buy me a
games.
beer.
We can
That's
do that
fair.
definitely.
We'll
Yes,
we'll each buy you a beer, so you get 2 beers.
There we
one
go.
free. Even if your one hand is broken, we can find a way to tape it.
That was last year, so
on some
hopefully this year that won't happen. And it was my throwing hand too, so that was pretty tough.
No, that sucks. It looks like your next game here in Everett is May 2nd. And that's a Saturday at 6 p.m. versus the Albany Firebirds. And then you guys go all the way through July, it looks like.
Wow.
Yep.
That's a good little season there. Yeah, I like that. That covers some of the down football time that,
Yeah,
almost
I think that was
just
kind of part of their business plan too, right, to kind of give fans an option and outlet during downtime.
it's a great idea. And if there's players that can practice with the NFL teams, that's right when their training camp starts,
Yeah.
late July.
Yep.
Yep.
That's a brilliant
Absolutely.
move.
Yeah, so, and that's kind of the idea, right, is to have some sort of a farm league or some sort of system to the pros because, like baseball has it, and NBA has the D League, right? So,
Right. They
there's
play in this.
football has certain leagues and different things, but there's not really one league that does it.
I'm getting
Okay.
excited about this. You're pumping me up for this. I know we're getting towards the end of the show, but we're gonna have Solack. We're gonna have to go do it. We're gonna go out to
Yeah.
the cities.
100%.
Yeah, no, you guys should enjoy yourself, man, for sure. It'll be a good time. Hopefully we can get that scoreboard rocking, scoring some points, and you get to see some fun football.
Fantastic. Where can people find you, Adam?
So
On
I
social.
have just Facebook is Adam Kruse, and then Kruse is how you spell it, and then also social media, Instagram. I'm not the biggest social media guy, but I know today's world we got to kind of do that. So it's QB Kruse, and that's Kruse. Yeah, and you can follow me if any quarterbacks are out there. If they have any questions, they can reach out. I'm always willing to talk football and work on the craft of quarterback.
And do you have a website for those camps and trainings that you have for
No, not quite
young and
yet.
ups and
I'm
okay?
working on getting some things in the mix as far as some camps go and things like that. I haven't been, a lot of my business is word of mouth. I don't market too much. I'm old school, man. I'm not big in I know it's important, but I'm just not big on it. I'm about that action, like kind of like Marshawn Lynch says.
Yeah.
I'm just ready, and the thing is a lot of parents that work with me know when they come work with me, they better be ready to work. Right? We're getting after it. I let the work speak for itself. I like to say.
Right on.
Nice.
Well,
And
if you do
and
end
also in our age, that's what gave me the advantage on my opponents and the competitive edge is I didn't have to tell you everything I did. I just worked in silence. And now it's like it's such the opposite,
Well, you let us know if you do end up promoting something, and we'll get it on our social.
100%. Yes.
Help promote
Just
you.
send me a message. We'll take care of it for sure.
Awesome, man. That's really a blessing. I appreciate that.
Yep. Absolutely. We appreciate you coming on. Quick question. Where can fans get tickets? Do they have to go to that stupid Ticketmaster or can they go somewhere else to get tickets?
Yeah, so I'm pretty sure, I don't know 100%, but I'm pretty sure they can go to like just the Washington Wolfpack social media page, something's with the Washington Wolfpack online, and there'll be something that'll lead to it. I'm sure.
Okay.
I don't know exactly, but I'm sure Ticketmaster has them because that is what's on our tickets, Ticketmaster. So that might be, yeah. That's I've had some issues in the past with not with the Wolfpack, but even with Seahawks. So yeah.
But it looks like you can also get them at the door on game day as well. So
Okay. Right on.
that's
Yeah,
good
you
news.
can buy them on it for sure. It last game was rocking, but yeah, the tickets don't sell out too much, so there's definitely some there.
Okay.
Excellent. And that next game is May 2nd, Saturday. So we always end our show on a shout out, something that gives you joy in your life, person, place, or thing. I'll go ahead and get this one kicked off. I want to give a shout out to Matthew Page. He, our Duck fan here at Seattle Sports Union. He just got married. Congrats, Matt. Big shout out to him. So, man, do you have a shout out?
Yeah, I was going to do that, but I'll give a shout out. Two quick ones. One to his wife, Patsy. Unfortunately, she is in the hospital, so our thoughts and prayers go out to her. And I want to give a shout out to Chris, your tow truck driver, Adam. He's an awesome guy, and I always tell him if we ever have a kickball game for our R&R Start Towing, he's always my first choice. He's a good man and hard worker, and I appreciate him mentioning the podcast to you and you coming on. So thank you.
Great.
Yeah,
Nathan's got a shout out for Cal Raleigh. So thank you, Nathan. Also, Nathan, you provided me some of your links, like to your Instagram and to tickets for the game. So I'll include that in our YouTube post. And I'm sure Solack, you can promote that on the socials.
Absolutely.
Yeah, feel free
Adam.
to tag me in anything you guys want to do. You know, Adam Kruse, Kruse, and yeah, and I'll do the same thing as well, man.
Awesome.
Nice.
And do you have a shout out, Adam?
Yeah, you know, man, it's a great question. I was trying to think about it as you guys were coming up with them, and there's a few. I think the biggest one right now, man, just because in time in the moment, my buddy's mom is kind of battling some stuff, and just yeah, it's just hoping that it's not looking too good, but just trying to send some good vibes her way, and hopefully the universe can bring peace to that whole thing.
Right
I'm
on.
sorry to hear that, but
Yeah.
yeah, let's all send definitely some good vibes.
Yeah,
Oh,
for sure.
I want to thank you for being on the show here, Adam. I can't wait to go see you live. I want to thank everybody out there for listening here on Spotify. I want to give big thanks out to the Soul Man and, of course, that Savage Nathan Savage. Now, on behalf of the Seattle Sports Studio, we'll see you guys next time.
Awesome. Thank you guys so much. I appreciate you guys.
Thank you.
I got you. Let's have it.
Go Wolfpack.
Yes, sir.